What's going on, my friends? Wanted to get on here and talk about something I touched on the other day. Talk about what I've learned and what works and what doesn't in fuses and breakers here. It's part of my electrical, but pretty much what's better in usage. When I did my electrical, I really thought that I was going to just go all breakers and it would work. Now, that's not to say it wouldn't if I had maybe a different breaker. I think Bussman may make some breakers that might hold up a little bit more than something like this. This is a DC breaker that is good for most DC applications, but probably not as heavy of a current pull as from the battery that I have and the inverter that I have. The inverter's pulling a lot of current, which is the reason why you need 4-gauge cables. I mean, I've got a 3,500 watt inverter and 200 amp hours of battery, so you got two forces working here on this. And this is a 300 amp breaker. I mean, I really thought it was going to work. You know, kind of learned that these breakers are just a little bit sensitive when it comes to pulling from that application. Now, everything else in the setup, these breakers seem to work beautifully. I've got a 50 amp breaker between my DC distribution and the fuse panel. So if I need to change out a fuse, I just pull power from everything. Or if I just want to disconnect all that stuff that's draining the battery, I can just turn all that stuff off. I've got a couple of 100 amp inline fuses for the alternator, the battery isolation charge from the alternator to my charge controller. From my charge controller going to the battery is 100 amp. And those are basically inline fuses. That would be, and you've seen them before, those fuses right here, which is simple 4-gauge cable going in and going out. So running that, you don't want to get anything smaller than that. Usually it's about a 4 to a 6-gauge cable. You're pushing it with, you get past 6, so it should be fine. 4-gauge definitely between your battery and your inverter. But what I've learned is from your battery to your inverter, the fuse to use are these ANL fuses. These are pretty much designed to handle a heavy current load. What I've really learned is if this blows, you've got something seriously wrong. So it's not as sensitive. This would be, you know, if you've got something internally going on in that inverter. If something inside that inverter is going bad, it's shorted in the circuit or something, this is going to indicate it's going to pull way too much current, and it's going to definitely cause problems on that deal. So, like I say, they're called ANL fuses. I think your breakers like this will work fine on anything else that you do in wiring your solar. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Like I say, I've got a 50 amp that looks just like this that's running from a DC bus bar to the fuse panel, you know, controlling that, and some inline fuses. And like I say, depending on what setup that you decide to do, really you want to just, it's all going to be different. We're all different. You may have some all-in-one systems. Like I think Victron makes some all-in-one charge controller inverter systems that have fuses in them. And you just put the signal straight in, you'd go. But in most cases, you're probably going to want that ANL fuse between the battery and that unit, because you really don't want to, you know. But again, you need to consult Victron on that in their system. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do in the rating of that. Now, one thing I will tell you is if you go with these companies that give you packages of solar, like Renogy does, Ames does, Victron does, they're going to tell you the cable, how much you need. If you tell them how far distance, they're going to tell you, you know, far, don't go too far. You don't want a battery too far away from your inverter. They're going to tell you what you need. They're going to tell you the fuses to use. They're going to tell you the breakers to use. So there's another benefit. If you're unsure, just go with a company who can set you with a whole package. Renogy is good with that. Ames is good with that. Victron is good with that. Battleborn makes great batteries, but I'm not sure what they're doing by anything else. I haven't looked on that though. If you're doing with the all-in-one like the Energy Apex, that's another one. And the Energy Apex, it's an all-in-one unit. They have solar panels. That's pretty much easy. Jackery's the same way. It just depends on the size solar system that you want to use. But anyway, that's what I ran in the other day when I was running my water kettle and testing the microwave for the first time with my inverter. It kept kicking out, and this breaker kept tripping. And what it was is, in half capacity, I'd spoken with Will Prowse. He says these were notorious on that big of a current pool, no matter where it says 300 amps or not. These were notorious of being too sensitive for that for some reason. So he said, go with your ANL fuse. That is the ticket, my friends. But anyway, I wanted to do a quick vid talking about that and expand on, you know, what was going on the other day. I've got another video coming up. I've got a review of the Energy Apex, and then we're going to talk about, I think, the cabinetry and stuff that I decided to do, what my plans may be for my desk. Contemplating of maybe taking the desk and turning everything into a bench and having a lagoon mount table. So that we'll talk further on that then. But anyway, until then, I'm out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Be cool. Bye.